Welcome to another episode of Keeping You Safe, in which we talk with law enforcement individuals, in particular, Ohio State Highway Patrol individuals and all those that support that, and talking about how to keep you safe while you're driving the roads or in certain kinds of state government buildings. So stay tuned. Hey, welcome to another episode of Keeping You Safe. I really like this particular program because it really gives me a bird's eye view of those individuals that are out there keeping us safe on the roads. They are much more than individuals that give us speeding tickets or individuals that keep us going slow on the road when we're wanting to go really fast. And as I get to know the individuals, I find out that their jobs really entail a lot of different ways in which we take for granted they keep us safe. And so it's my pleasure to talk with Nate Lawson. Nate Lawson has been a trooper for 19 years and is currently in the Jackson office. And also we're going to be talking with Jason Saunders. Jason is a dispatcher with the Jackson District Office, and they'll tell you a little bit more about that. Jason, I believe, is also with the auxiliary form, and I always wondered what the difference between auxiliary and trooper, so we're hoping to get into that. So gentlemen, thank you very much for coming on the show. Nate, let's talk a little bit about you. Tell us about yourself.
Thank you. I've been a trooper for almost 19 years in the Ohio State Highway Patrol. Currently, I'm assigned to the Jackson LCS section with the Commercial Standards section. I've also been fortunate to hopefully save a lot of lives out there on the roadway. Our main objective is traffic safety, obviously, for the Ohio State Highway Patrol, the travelers through our state, and also our local travelers inside of our state that are residents here. The last several years I've been currently assigned to the Portsmouth post, and we've also tried to implement different activities and functions and community involvement, also working with other agencies to ultimately achieve our goals, reduce traffic crashes and fatalities in our areas.
I think one of your specialties is in commercial trucks. You know, there are a lot of trucks on the road.
Yes, there is.
And we've always heard things about how courteous truck drivers are. We've always heard that truck drivers drive these fantastic big obstacles.
Yes, they are.
That's very difficult. You know, we have all sorts of different images about truckers, and usually, unfortunately, sometimes we hear about the fatal crashes.
This is correct. Something just to remember as a daily driver, most of our commercial motor vehicles, which is a semi or a dump truck, could haul up to 80,000 pounds of weight versus a vehicle on average.
That's 40 tons.
Yes, 40 tons.
40 tons, wow.
Compared to a national average vehicle being right at 5,000 pounds. So there's a lot of different safety features for a semi or a straight truck, commercial motor vehicle that allows or restricts driving versus a motor vehicle that are normally used by civilians or doing daily travels back and forth.
And so you're part of the federal commercial motor carrier unit.
Yes.
And so primarily you're looking at those trucks that are going down the road.
Yes. Try to prevent the safety violations. We do safety inspections every day. The safety is ultimately for the driver, of course, and then also people that are around him to and from in their travels. Ultimately, nobody wants to be in a crash or be involved in a delay or a fatal crash, especially for your family members, to have to adapt to in their everyday lives after it's all over with. What we're trying to produce is a drop in our crashes, a drop in our fatal numbers. What can we do in an everyday as an everyday driver, such as if you're on your everyday travel, you don't want to drive right beside a semi-truck for very long in case of something, debris would fall from their vehicle, kicked up from the roadway, even down to a tire that would possibly blow out.
That happened one
Yes.
time where I was right next to it, or either the car in front of me, now boom, and that blew right into that car. I can't remember what it was. It was an interesting experience.
In your vehicle, on a average vehicle, we're using 35 pounds of air pressure in a car tire. A semi-truck uses up to 110 pounds of air pressure in their tires on a daily basis. So when you put 110 pounds versus up to a vehicle which doesn't have a very solid structure or frame or extra protection for the person and passengers in the vehicle, if the tire does come off, they have to round.
Yeah, it does happen. We'll talk a little bit more about some of the activities. We also have Jason Saunders. Jason Saunders is a district supervisor of dispatchers, I believe. Is that correct?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
And you've had almost 20 years involved.
Yes, I'll have 19 years with the Highway Patrol this October.
Very good. And I know you come out of the Jackson District Office. Why do we need a dispatch? Well, before we do that, tell us about yourself.
So I've been with the Highway Patrol since October of 2000. Prior to that, I was a police officer for 3 years in MacArthur, Ohio.
Very good.
I'm also a member of the Highway Patrol Auxiliary. I started my career at the Ironton Post and transferred to Jackson in 2004. And from Jackson, I was promoted to dispatch supervisor and sent to Columbus in 2005. And I was up there for a short time, came back to the Jackson Post in 2006. And in 2012, I was promoted to my current position as the dispatcher supervisor, overseeing the dispatch operations.
That's interesting. I often wondered, with dispatchers, the only time I really hear about dispatchers is when I watch TV. They have shows.
Right.
You probably never seen this one, Adam 12. That was where the dispatcher, all they did was say something, and the next thing you know, they responded.
Right.
So is dispatching, tell us what it's really like to be a dispatcher.
So obviously, the call volume is, we have a heavy call volume. The day and age of cell phones. And we encourage motorists that if you see something, a reckless driver or an impaired driver or any type of suspicious activity, drug trafficking, anything like that, to call our pound 677 line.
Okay.
That rings to our Highway Patrol facilities. Our dispatchers, they field the calls and send to our troopers. Whether it's a reckless op or an impaired driver, some of the stuff that our people are going to ask is a good location. What highway are you on? What road are you on? What direction of travel are you heading? The vehicle information, the make, the model, the color of the car, the license plate information, if you can get close enough to it and safely to get that information to our dispatchers. That way they can get that information, put it into our computer-aided dispatch system, and we use that to send our closest trooper, because our CAD system utilizes mapping technology, and all of our troopers have GPS in their cars. So what they're looking at is a screen that's got a map with all the available units on it, and that way they can send the closest trooper to dispatch to the call.
Does that also include like sheriffs and local police?
We just dispatch for the Highway Patrol.
Oh, okay.
So if there's a call for service and we don't have anyone close, we try to exhaust everything we can before we have to reach out to another agency.
I
Whether it be reaching out to another patrol post, an adjacent patrol post, we'll do that. But we do contact our partners in law enforcement community,
Yeah.
our sheriff's offices and police
Yeah.
departments also, and sometimes that way they can. It's all about public service. It's all
Sure.
about
Sure.
public safety. We want to get the closest person there to help the people
Yeah.
out, especially when it comes to crashes, because it is about life preservation. A lot of times when you see a crash, you want to call the highway patrol. We're going to ask questions like, are the people injured? Because we want to get the squad or the fire department, whoever, dispatch that to take care of that immediately. The location, obviously, is the road blocked? The vehicle descriptions, is it a hit skip? If so, what direction of travel did the
I see.
car flee in? So that's the type of questions that our dispatchers ask, and like we discussed a minute ago, if we don't have anybody that's remotely close, we're sending the closest, but we will reach out to our partners in safety and.
Good. Just a couple questions. School buses are right around the corner,
Yes, they are.
and you hear a lot of complaints from we drivers to complaints from the bus drivers. The one thing that I noticed, and I noticed that buses you're required to stop. As a driver behind a bus
Correct.
or in front of it if it's a two-lane road.
If the lights are out and the
Yes.
amber lights to become red, and then the stop sign comes out from the driver's side, which is on the left.
One of the things that I noticed is that there tends to be a long stream of cars behind a bus. And I would think that, I know that the bus driver is on a time limit, but he should allow a number of cars to go past him as he started, rather than go real fast. Have you noticed that? Have you seen that?
We urge our bus drivers. I've had the opportunity to be in school bus in service for our drivers.
Okay.
They also have the same obligation as what I do, is safety, safety, safety. Their primary goal is their children on the bus, which ultimately goes back to having happy parents and a happy school board.
That's right.
With that being said, opportunities do arise. There's a pull off. There's more of a passing zone, so the bus driver does allow vehicles to pass in their daily travels. When you have a 4-lane road and the lights are active, for a child to enter the bus or exit the bus, the opposite lanes of travel, if everybody can remember this, they do not have to stop. They can slow. They have the opportunity to slow, but they don't have to stop.
So what you're saying is, if you have a 4-lane road,
Correct.
and I'm coming up to a bus driver that's on the opposite side and he has its lights blinking, I should slow up, but I do not have to.
That is correct.
Okay.
Due to the children have to exit to the right-hand
I
side
see.
of
I
the
see.
bus. They are not crossing traffic on a 4-lane. That's only a 2-lane.
Okay.
So if the vehicle's on a 2-lane, the school bus is on a 2-lane, and the vehicle's headed the opposite direction, they are not permitted to pass.
But I would venture to say that you should always keep your eyeballs. You
Absolutely.
never know.
Child is unpredictable at times. Very much.
And just out of curiosity, since school buses are around, as a dispatcher, do you find that there are some freak accidents or?
We've had incidents where we've had school bus crashes, obviously, and when that occurs, we get as much information as we can, and we notify our licensing and commercial standards section, so that way they can get the appropriate resources dispatched to that scene, whether it be someone like Trooper Lawson, our school bus, our motor vehicle investigators who actually do the inspections on the school buses. We had one last spring, I believe, around the Athens area.
Correct.
School bus crash, and we had all the resources.
Good.
They received the call and sent the resources to investigate.
You know, isn't it true that the Ohio Highway Patrol system saves more lives because of their willingness to take quality steps? I guess what I'm saying is that we in the civilian world only see you on the road clocking us. But in reality, there are probably a lot of times that you as troopers went out of your ways to help other individuals.
That's correct. Daily operations is a necessity to stop the stranded or broke down motor vehicle.
Yeah.
There is opportunities there to make community contacts, further education. Our main goal is safety belts. We've pushed that in our school systems throughout the years. We've also had the opportunities to be in with our DARE programs throughout the state. Prom promises. We preached about the seatbelt usage after they enter the vehicle after prom. Even on an everyday basis, just going to and from school, even though it's only a block or two, most of your crashes happen within 5 miles of your home anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
We've had the opportunity in 2018 stats have already showed that crashes have dropped, and that's our ultimate goal, is our safety for our motorists. As long as every year we strive to make a better opportunity, better statistics shows that for safety for the state of Ohio, part of my job, we want people to have every opportunity to see what we do. So we've also implemented different programs such as distracted driving. Our cell phone usage while you're driving is not permitted. Obviously, there's no texting. We have laws for that. Also, a restricted amount of minutes on the phone. At that point, your driver becomes relaxed, not focused on the roadway or traffic ahead, such as a school bus that's stopped ahead where there's children exiting. So we try to give every opportunity, try to correlate, educate, however we can do it to get in our community, get into involvement for one thing only: make sure our motorists, our citizens go home every evening.
You know, it's interesting. One of the patrolmen, we have another show up at the University of Rio Grande. He was mentioning about 3 seconds. For instance, if I'm driving down the road and I look at my cell phone, it takes about 3 seconds.
This is correct.
To refocus yourself. And I'm thinking, that can't be. So, as I'm driving down the road, I looked at this and I counted. And it did take 3 seconds to reacclimate yourself.
Yes. And 88 feet per second on a 55 mile an hour stretch, obviously that increases the faster you go.
Yes.
So, you were already looking at well over 250 feet can travel through.
Yes.
And as we all know, that's almost the length of a football field before your eyes are focused back on the roadway.
Right. That is interesting. So safety is extremely important. Jason, just out of curiosity, you're involved with the auxiliary, and you have been our dispatchers part of the Ohio Highway Patrol system, or are they considered auxiliary? What is it? What is auxiliary?
Our dispatchers are dispatchers.
Okay.
And I happen to be, I hired as a dispatcher in 2000, and then I joined our auxiliary program in 2003. Our auxiliary program is basically an all-volunteer force that provides assistance to the troopers in the course of their duties. We have training in crash scene and traffic stop assistance, traffic control, disaster relief, and special detail support are some of the duties that we have. Some of that includes working the Ohio State Fair, Ohio State football games, special details.
I would imagine at some of the football games, people are a little bit rowdy,
Can be.
but not at Ohio State University. We're all winners. Yeah, that's right.
Go Bucks.
Go Bucks. But an auxiliary basically means when you need to fill in, you're there.
Right. So the auxiliaries were formed in 1942 when many of the commissioned officers were being drafted into World War II. Back then, membership was only limited to members of the American Legion, which was largely made up of World War I veterans who were unlikely to be drafted into service for World War II. Today, the requirements to become an auxiliary are just a U.S. citizen, an Ohio resident with a valid Ohio driver's license, between the age of 21 and 57, good physical condition, a high school diploma or GED, no felony convictions. They must be able to pass a background investigation, pre-employment polygraph test, just like the troopers, and have the ability to communicate clearly and be available for training and service. Our auxiliary, to be a active member of the auxiliary, we have to donate a minimum of 120 hours a year to the program, and that's coming out and riding with the troopers, coming to the posts and helping out. Anything we can do to assist them.
Very good, very good. I often wonder, to be either a trooper or auxiliary dispatcher, do you have to have a college degree?
No, sir. You don't have to have a college degree.
All right. So I would imagine that sort of take me through. Let's suppose that I was 20, 21, or I was right out of high school and things of that nature, and I wanted to become a trooper.
Yes.
Take me through.
We don't need a college degree. We're trained officers at the Highway Patrol Academy. But your first step is we have to get with a recruiter. So you have to either apply online,
Okay.
or you have to go to the recruitment office in Columbus.
Oh, okay.
Same thing as what Jason was saying about the auxiliary. We hold anyone who applies to a higher standard.
You almost have to, because you're the. You have to
try to emphasize on not necessarily just goodness, but your opportunity to present and give goodness out there to the public. So when we say that, it's not all about look at me or look at who's this. We're all on the same team for safety. Also, Ohio citizen, must live in Ohio. Come in through our recruitment. They'll show different packages and programs on your polygraph, your physical condition, your age. You can't be over 34 before entering into the academy.
What's the youngest age?
20.
20.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
So we're encouraging all young women, young men who would like to apply. Please come.
Okay.
We'd love to take a look at you.
The worst thing that would happen is they'd say no.
Yeah, I mean that's the bottom line.
Yeah.
If you want to help other people in public utilities, public safeties, hey, this is your opportunity to come with us.
Should individuals that are interested in pursuing law enforcement, or I guess it would be law enforcement, should they have some kind of training, background training first?
Yes. Oh, absolutely. The Ohio State Highway Patrol Academy gives you a wonderful 6 months of experience, training, and development, from firearms to safe driving, tactical takedowns to entries. We have the opportunity to facilities for schools. We do quad training. We train 3 times a year. qualify with your firearms at least twice. There's opportunities out there for once you become a trooper, what section do you want to prevail in? We have drug interdiction, we've got semi-truck section, we have all the way down to a photographic services section. We have recruitment, we have our dispatchers, we have even down to schedule maintenance people. So radio techs, we have all kinds of opportunities for your future development and what you want to become and what you want to do, not just be a trooper and just write speeding tickets. So you have every opportunity to do anything.
Sure, sure. As a matter of fact, looking at some of your, both of your distinguished awards, let's see, Nate, you have a stolen car award.
And that's our auto larceny award. Received that. Also been a post trooper of the year, 2013, 2015, 2018, and a Jackson District Award winner in 2018 also.
And so what you're saying is that you really take your job serious.
Right. There's a little bit of seriousness to it. Our criminal patrol, giving back to our communities. We jump into a community that's reached out to us, through our different dispatch centers that we have. They give us intel, and we encourage people in the neighborhoods to call. Let us know where there's some activity out that you think is suspicious. And last year, also won a criminal patrol award just on a caller calling in.
That's interesting. And Jason, you've been dispatcher of the year a number of times.
Yes, sir. I've been humbled to receive the post dispatcher of the year award several times. I've also was the Jackson District Dispatcher of the Year in 2011. There's not a greater feeling. I'll be honest with you. I take my job to heart. I want when my children are adults, I want them to be able to look back at their father, at me, and look at what I've done in my career, and not only be a role model to them for that, but to see what I've done to do my part to try to make our community safer, try to make our community better through my work as a dispatcher and also my work as an auxiliary officer.
I think you hit it right on the head. First of all, you're family people.
Correct.
Yes, sir.
You're just like the neighbor next door. You have your ups and downs, life, whatever, those kinds of things. But you also have to set a little bit higher standard.
Yes, sir.
Because we in the public are always looking for something controversial, it seems, and so when you're out on the road, respect is extremely important. And if we have more time, I'd like to find out about some of the instances where your patience has been pushed to the limit with some of us, because of our inability to be respectful. So that, of course, will be another time. Hey, we're talking with Nate Lawson. Nate is a trooper, has been involved in the Ohio Highway Patrol. He's currently in the Jackson area, 19 years. And then also Jason Saunders. Jason has been with the auxiliary dispatching program and as a trooper also for 20 years. And gentlemen, you have 5 seconds each. Tell us completely what you'd like to share with the audience.
I just loved everybody to buckle up. If you
Okay.
just remember and have your family members buckle their safety belts before
Okay.
pulling out on the roadway. That's the main thing I like.
Okay.
I'd just like to thank you for the opportunity to be here today, and just to remind our viewers that whenever they have anything that they need, service call wise, to call our pound 677 and report those reckless drivers and impaired drivers, so we can get our resources, our troopers out there to get them off the roadway to make our community safer.
I think that's extremely important. Nate, Jason, thank you very much
Thank you,
for
sir.
Thank you, sir.
being here. Behind the scenes is Dwayne Rigsby. He's making this broadcast possible. I'm Patrick Dengel. Thank you for watching.